Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer League match. We got another exciting one for you today. James FNX of the Immortals versus Don Veneer of Boomer Friendly. My name is Willard J. Bradley. I'm here with Cool Papa Bell and some numbers. How's it going, dude?
It's going good. I'm excited to see some more rando.
Yeah, always excited, especially with some good old-fashioned, basic, easy to pay attention to casual boots.
Yeah, none of this crazy co-op, people in 9 different places at once. Just standard mode. We got boots, we got a sword, nice and friendly.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is an interesting matchup between these two. Of course, this is the Invitational debut of Boomer Friendly, a team that had earned a spot from their performance in the Open League last season. And Immortals been around for quite a while now. Newcomer James FNX joining this team, and they're hoping that they can get one on the board. So, quite a bit at stake today.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start for both of these teams. Boomer Friendly got their first points in Game 1 of this week. I believe Leviticus picked those up, so James FNX will definitely be looking to get some revenge and get the Immortals on the board here.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to catch that race between Duke Firebird and Leviticus, but we already see Duke in chat cheering on his teammates. So now this is the third one of these I've commentated this week, and I've seen some pretty nasty stuff so far with these seeds. You know, you'd think with it being casual boots, it'd be a nice, easy playthrough, but sometimes the game says, "Hey, I'm gonna put some stupid stuff in some stupid spots, and you're gonna have to deal with that."
Yeah, when Sahabot decides it wants to be mean, it's gonna find a way to do it. So.
Oh yeah.
But at the very least, the start is pretty well scripted. No worries about having to farm for bombs or anything like that. And we will get things started.
Let's see what we got going on in our first chest here at Link's house. Well, there's our bombs. It's a nice find. Now, you said that we don't really... We're not in a need for bombs to get everything in escape, but it is nice to have them before getting to Kakariko. There you go. It's the weird thing about this mode is you do have a starting sword, but it doesn't actually activate fully until you talk to the uncle. But you can tell that you have one kind of because you can like dash through bushes when you're traveling from Link's house to the secret passageway, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to. And it's one of those things that if you just started playing this on your own, you probably wouldn't know that you actually had a sword then.
Right.
So you really have to see someone else, dash through a bush with no sword before you realize, oh, that's how this is working.
Even though we have a pretty basic escape sequence to go through, there's still a very possibility that we can find some good progression in here alone that might dictate how our runners decide to route in the early game. Oftentimes, we'll do this, and then we'll head to the Lost Woods, and then we'll head to Kakariko. Keep things pretty safe and standard. We also haven't seen our Light World Dungeon prizes yet, so sometimes, players will like to route in an early Eastern if it's a pendant, and just hope that Armos doesn't have anything you don't have to come back. Stuff like that.
I've gotten the key and the map early, so...
Nothing but items here on out.
Yes. We have found 50 rupees, which isn't bad to get some rupees early on, get some startup money for things like Bottle Vendor and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's usually a good thing to find. Another thing to consider is that eventually, it's nice to have... Ooh, gotta be careful. It's nice to have a little bit of money for that eventually going to Zora. It's a little scary on both sides. Ball and Chain Guard, does a whole heart of damage every time you get hit. So when you're chilling at a cool 3 hearts, that can be a little tricky. But thankfully, both runners get through it unfazed. It's weird because sometimes the Ball and Chain Guard will somehow block your attacks. And then if you're not paying attention, you're like, oh, okay. Then you get hit. And then you panic. Then I'm sure everyone's at least died to Ball and Chain Guard at least once in their entire time of playing Link to the Past, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, the 8 slashes that James did is a little bit faster if you can execute it, but Dawn went with an extra pot there in the middle, which is significantly safer, so...
So far, nothing but resources, but hopefully we'll find something, like a glove. We can get an early ocarina, or it's always nice to see like another sword right off the bat. Anything really to kind of feel better about the seed. I don't know. Kind of feels weird to get out of escape and have like nothing, no progression.
Yeah, and I gotta say, as a commentator, I sort of miss regular standard mode when we are farming for bombs, because then we can talk about prize packs and sound all smart and stuff, but...
The funny thing is, even in a mode like this, I still spend a little bit of time just double-checking to see what the prize packs are, just... You never know what kind of... Because if you still get, the good prize pack with the 8-bomb drop, I think it's still worth farming early if you can.
Yeah, or if the guards and snakes have bombs, I'll do one spin in the snake avoidance room and try and get up to a 4-drop there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's $300, 10 more arrows, and a book.
Well, finally, something that opens up some checks. Early Desert Palace, not the most appealing.
Not without a fire source and a glove. Not at all. But getting book early means that these runners could potentially route in a pedestal check right away while they're in the Lost Woods. So it's kind of out of the way from just grabbing the items in there, but it's one of the best times to check it, and kind of having that information super early would be kind of nice.
And of course, that desert is a green pendant. We've got regular crystals at the other 2 Light World dungeons.
Mm-hmm. That is one piece of our of info that we're looking for. We're still looking for where the other 2 pendants are, and of course where the 2 Pyramid Fairy crystals are, the 5 and 6 crystals, but I'll have to wait until we're in the Dark World before we find that. That is a nice find this early on, getting blue mail. Nice bit of damage reduction, because you never know what kind of heart situation you're going to be in. Nice tree pull, some free bombs, always good. That looked like, what, $20? Was that? Sorry, I looked away.
Yeah, I think that was a red rupee. So James is doing the drop down first. I think that means he's then going to go past the mushroom item and go over to check pedestal right now.
That would make the most sense of that routing option. The good news is right now, as far as we know, we don't have to beat Aga. Now, of course, there's still a possibility of finding the means to unlock Aga Tower and do that in order to get to the Dark World. Oh, it looks like they're both going to go for the pet check. Maximum health increase. Alright, so no pedestal today.
Just killing all the memes early on.
It's kind of nice having that info, but then, of course, when you get a situation like, you know, pendant helmet or something, it's like, and they have an item, it's like, oh, do I really want to go for something like that? But we'll see what our pendant dungeons are in the Dark World at some point soon.
Yeah, I don't know about you. If Pendant Helma has an item, I just lose. That's just the way it goes. I'm never getting that.
Pendant Pod in general has an item, I just lose, because I never go there.
Finally, some stuff. We got a hammer and a master sword out of the well.
Just gotta find a lamp and a moon pearl and we can go do Agatar. Or, the better scenario, find a glove and a moon pearl and just go to the Dark World. Pretend Aga doesn't exist. Ooh, that's a nice find. Early Cane of Samaria. Doesn't really do much for us now, other than give us peace of mind when we eventually need to go to Ice Palace.
So wrapping up Kakariko here, we will get to check Sick Kid as well. I'm not sure I see much good reason to do anything other than South Shore next. I wouldn't be particularly tempted by that desert place still.
Yeah, without a glove or a fire source, it doesn't really... I guess to go... Well, actually, I don't know. If you had one of them, you could potentially go there and maybe find the other one. But, yeah. South Shore looks like the next safest play to make.
Although if you really read into that book, you could do a similar play of, you know, hoping that the boss has nothing and you never have to go back, but with Green Pendant, that's a little bit less appealing.
For sure. It would be nice if we had the means to go beat Desert, and then we can turn in Green Pendant on our way to checking Eastern, if it comes to that. Here we go, on to South Shore. We've got 2 items at the dam, bunch of items at Mini Moldering Cave, and then it's like, alright, do I go to Agana's Desert? Do I go to Ice Rock Cave and do some Fake Flipper setups? One of the things about starting boots is that the Fake Flipper Water Walk setup is relatively easy to do, so more often than not, I'd say a majority of players will go for it every time.
Yeah, and we're sort of hovering on the edge of Zora money, so that's also an option as part of all of that fake flippering.
Okay, finally. Oh, good. Some divergence. This is interesting, though. I feel like if you wanted to go to Desert, I feel like routing in Mini Moldering Cave and then going to Desert might have been a safer play. But, yeah, James going all in. Not even going to check Agnes Cave until after Desert. There's the glove. There's the moon pearl. It's like Dawn found the right place to go. But here's another thing to think about. You know, what if James finds something here in Desert that Dawn ends up not getting for a long time because of the Dark World access they just got?
Yeah, it definitely could go either way. There was a mirror shield out on the desert ledge, so that's none too exciting.
Yeah, it's not like James isn't going to immediately go do Mini Molten Cave after this play wraps up. And the only way this play really hurts him is if Don happens to stumble upon, you know, a fire rod or a lamp and can come back and actually clear this dungeon. Yeah, we have Dark World access. We can start working towards that. And, you know, if you're these runners, you're hoping for Crystal Thieves just to have an easy and free dungeon to do right off the bat.
Yeah, and Don is continuing with the fake flippering. It would have been reasonable to just peace out with that new Dark World access, but
Mm-hmm. Looks like nothing in Waterfall from that sequence break, and second item, I believe, is going to be on Lamos. Not what James wanted to see here, but... Yeah, without the money, can't go to Zora. Not even going to check to see what's on Zora's Ledge. We're going to utilize this water walk from Waterfall Cave to go dash up and check the hobo to wrap up this route.
yeah, gotta say, I would always check the ledge, but maybe that's just me, because it just feels so bad when there's an item there that you could have known about forever ago.
Yeah, I feel like scouting information is pretty valuable. That's a save and quit. Oh, let's see. Looks like we're probably heading to Hype Cave on Dawn's side, and then it's a matter of where you go next. I feel like generally people will go for the Stumpy digging game, but some people might do Pyramid Catfish, depending on what the Pyramid Fairy crystals are today. Okay. Pendant Ice, Pendant T-Rock, Pyramid Fairy Swamp, Pyramid Fairy Mire. Well, that means as far as we know, we won't be needing that ice rod, so that's good. A lot of junk here in Hype Cave. Nothing to get excited about. Gonna save and quit. Interesting.
Yeah, like you were saying, with the red crystals as deep into the sea as it looks like they're going to be, probably Pyramid Fairy is going to be nothing, so that would have maybe been a little bit more incentive to go clear Pyramid Catfish right now, but looks like Don's just going to head over to the Thieves Town area, and James is going to immediately go into Hype Cave as well with his Glove and Pearl out of Mini Moldorm.
Yeah, decided to skip out on Ice Road Cave and all the Zora or the Water Walk checks entirely, which is going to work out for him because none of it was anything of value.
I mean,
and we'll see. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Don got a gold B out of the Waterfall Fairy.
Oh, baby. That's some Zora money right there. Funny thing is, I mean, we're chilling at 4 hearts. That's not very healthy going into the Dark World. We do have Blue Mail, which will help, but I'm sure these runners are going to be looking for a couple more heart containers along the way.
Here's another one of these convenient spots to have the red cane for the big key chest and skull.
Nice little time save. Don't have to worry about the Gibdos or pushing a statue. Just gotta... Well, I guess even walking back out of here... Oh, never mind. Don't have to walk. Got the mirror. It's a really nice find. James is finding 300 bucks on the pyramid. Probably wishing he had that mirror so that when he ran up and does catfish, he could, you know, mirror and go check Zora. Early mirror is especially nice when you haven't really done much of the Dark World stuff, so you haven't, like, isolated K45 or Graveyard Ledge or anything like that. And it is 100% required because we do have a Crystal Swamp.
And yeah, this could also transition immediately into those North Dark World checks. But those are a little bit slow for some runners' tastes at this point in the seed.
Mm-hmm. That's a neat little hammer dash to get the lineup on the hole for the bomb jump. That was cool. Getting a bombos too. Wow, Skullwood's coming in pretty big. Just a blue boomerang off of Catfish, which is a nice find, but can check our stun prize. Not as good as those items in Skullwoods. Now, the classic here would be finding Fire Rod in Village of Outcast. Oh. Nice Tempered Sword upgrade already. Blue Mail and Tempered Sword. Had access to a Mirror Shield. Good equipment.
Yeah, definitely not going to complain about that Tempered Sword. Could still probably complain about the 4 hearts that we're still sitting on, but details.
This is good for James heading into this area as well. I do feel like, yeah, that Cane of Samaria probably is what... or probably helped make that decision for both these players to go into Skullwoods. Just because it makes this check so much faster. So what's the next big thing we're looking for right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably it's going to be some sort of logical access to Death Mountain. We could certainly get there right now through the Dark Room, but something that tells us that we're supposed to be going up there would be pretty important, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Because if we had a flute or a lamp, then we can get up the mountain. We have the mirror, so we can get up to Hera and then go to East Death Mountain. And then, of course, you know, hoping for mitts and hook shots so you can full clear the mountain.
It'll sort of be an interesting choice if our runners kind of find nothing in the next couple of minutes. Do you like go ahead and dip into pod without the bow? Do you sequence break the mountain and hope that it's just the lamp in pod somewhere?
It's a tough call because, like, you know, you have Crystal, Eastern, and Pod, and you're just looking for one item. If you can find the bow, then you can be able to, like, do both dungeons one after another with the mirror. So, it'd be hard for me to make that decision to go to Pod Eastern. I would probably sequence break up the mountain next. After Thieves Town. Just never know what you could find up there.
James going to show us this North Dark World. Just some rupees on the bumper ledge.
Yeah, this route makes a lot more sense for him since he's already been up to Catfish. So now we can go completely down south and do Digging Game and all that stuff after Thieves Town. Nothing on bumper ledge. Let's see what else we got over here.
And I don't know about you, but every time I say to myself, that's probably just the lamp over there, I'll just go to the mountain and skip over it. Oh, it's the flute, so...
Okay, wow. That's a really nice find. So that, as far as you know right now, that is our main logical access up the mountain. So yeah, there's a good chance we could go up to Death Mountain and find the lamp. And it could still, I mean, it could still be like hidden in T-Rock if we can find the mitts up there or something. Now that would be fun. I can't help but like chuckle every time I find a lamp in T-Rock. Save and quit. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it would have been faster to just run back to the village and mirror to activate this flute, but maybe he doesn't even want to go into Thieves yet.
Yeah, he might just skip out on that and go up the mountain right away. Oh, there's a shovel off a blind. We did get a heart container in here as well, which was nice. But yeah, with having to run back around to get to the Dark World, like, this was indeed slower.
So now it'll be interesting to see how quickly Dawn gets funneled back up to those North Dark World checks to grab that flute. Because that could be a little bit between the mountain we were talking about and the pod dip.
Yeah, and especially when you're going south here to do Digging Game and Stumpy. Like, Dawn would need to stumble upon the mitts or something down here.
Or I guess finding Fire Rod would be pretty good, because if you find Fire Rod, you might just go back and do Skull Woods and then clear out the other stuff in the area at the same time.
I think regardless, unless we find... Yeah, I feel like without that flute, good chance that Dawn will still potentially sequence break up the mountain after this. There's just too many good things up there right now. Or, well, we don't know that. There's too many checks to do. Gotta get up there. That is kind of the downside about Graveyard Ledge. It is kind of in a weird spot to route in. The routing actually worked out really well for James just because they'd already been to Pyramid Catfish. So, a lot of times people will like to do Graveyard King's Tomb over to Catfish. Even if they have to, like, do a cheeky bomb jump or something.
Yeah, the meme is ban hovering. I think we should just ban Catfish. I mean, who likes Catfish, right?
Catfish had a boomer. Besides, how often you get burned by Catfish versus other awful things, right? And Catfish is honestly not too bad of a check as well when you have the mirror, because you can route in Zora too. So that could be, if Zora ends up having something, or even something on the Zora ledge, that could be advantageous swing.
That is definitely true. In these boot start seeds, you wind up so often that you've checked everything else in the Zora area except Zora itself. So, yeah, then that Catfish mirror to Zora feels a lot better.
So I wonder if we're actually going to get a desert play from Dawn here. We know there's nothing in there.
And still no fire source, so we're not going to see all the way to Landmo.
It looks like we are. So that's good for James. Not only because James already did this and wasn't able to beat it, but... Man, that flute might stay at Graveyard Ledge for a while for Dawn's side. It's tough because it's like, do I go back and do that one Graveyard Ledge King's Tomb check? Or do I, go to pod? Or do I just sequence break up the mountain and ignore it for now?
Yeah, this is where I also start thinking about, Graveyard Ledge over to Catfish and then run down to Pyramid Pod from there. I don't know if that's actually an efficient path, but it feels like it is. Like, maybe it's a little bit too thorough as opposed to just going to Pod, since that's where the, most likely progression is, but it's one possible route that Dawn might take.
Yeah. I feel like I'm always looking for excuses to not go to Pod. if I can't beat it, but not having a bow or a fire source, specifically a lamp, is a good enough excuse for me to just pretend pod doesn't exist. But that's the thing, is we still haven't even seen, like, Sahas Rala's hut or Eastern. Those are still possibilities as well. But for the time being, it does feel like the game is sending us up to Death Mountain next. I'm about to get the bad news. Wait, did we actually... Did Don check Shuffle?
Yes. Yeah, he mirrored
Okay.
from Stumpy.
Gotcha. Alright. We're going up the mountain. We're going back to Village of Outcasts. What's the plan? Looks like we're sequence breaking up the mountain then.
So the good news about this for Dawn is, even though this is going away from the flute, if he finds the lamp somewhere up the mountain, right, then he knows he's left flute behind somewhere that's not lamp locked.
For sure. Yeah, the thing is, like, until we find the mitts, you know, the flute doesn't really do too much for us that we can't already do without it. You know, it's nice for overworld movement, and we do need it eventually. But since Dawn can get up the mountain without it, it's fine for now. But you know, the seed could be rude and make it so that, you know, you could potentially do Meyer last, and could end up like really isolating that flute for a while if we find like the things we need to do, swamp or something, or we find a bow and head over to Eastern Pod next. Am I going crazy, or does James' game audio sound so weird? It sounds distorted.
Yeah, it feels like it's doubling up somehow, like we're getting echo from it or something.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm not crazy, thank goodness. I mean, I am crazy to an extent, probably, but... Another heart piece off of the ether tablet. Not enough to get a full health refill, which would have been nice and would have been, you know, 9th heart.
Dawn going into Hera right away. I was wondering about doing East Death Mountain first and hoping to find the hook shot over there. But Dawn might want to see if this is logically fire-locked first or just doesn't want to backtrack.
Yeah, I feel like generally players will try and hold off on Hera until they get the hook shot. Or we'll try and do what you said and check East Death Mountain for hook shot, but honestly, it's not the worst thing unless well, I mean, I guess you could go to East Death Mountain, and if you don't find hook shot, you can come back, beat Hera, and then route in Spike Cave. So I don't think we have the means to do Spike Cave yet. I really love these random item dashes to line yourself up. I have not really seen anyone do that before, so that's really cool.
And I mean, any day you shovel dash is a good day, right? So
Right.
that small key in the big chest, though, we are guaranteed an item in the basement.
Just need Moldworm to drop us a fire rod or a lamp, and we're good to go. Nice fight. All right, let's see what we got other than our second crystal. That's $20.
I think the thing about backtracking to Hera also is that depending on if you get that Hera pot first try or not, you might waste more time backtracking than you actually save with Hera pot. So
yeah, I mean, oh wow, there's our last medallion up on Floating Island. So that's pretty much that's. I mean, that's nice. It means you don't have to worry about medallions at all. Just 10 arrows on Zora's ledge. Let's see what the big guy has for us. Nothing to get excited about. All right, wow. So if Dawn never goes to Catfish or Zora, they're going to save a good chunk of time. I mean, I can already imagine it now. Dawn, like, heading over to go do Catfish and Zora, does Graveyard Legend King's Tomb, but finds their Go Mode flute from Graveyard Legend instead.
right.
Nice. Nice. There's our hook shot. Now you're just hoping to find mitts. And you can just clear all of East Death Mountain and be done with it. And, well, except there's always T-Rock possibility.
Yeah, it feels like we need to find something in here, or else the answer's in Pod, I guess.
It looks like the answer's going to be in Pod or Eastern. And look, like you said, there's the hook shot. Now you can go back in Harapot. Perfect. Yeah, right now it's looking like our answer is going to be in the East Palace area. Either in Sahasrara's Closet, in Eastern, or in Pod, which it's funny because both of those dungeons have rooms that are locked by a fire source. Oh, this is interesting. So we might actually see Dawn get that ocarina sooner than we were expecting. This is how I play. Never wanting to commit to Pod Eastern until you have the bow. But for all we know, the bow is probably in there.
I was going to say, the longer you put it off, the more likely it is that the bow is just there, which is both technically true, because, the more checks you do, that narrows down where the bow could be, but also just from a Murphy's Law standpoint.
Yeah. And of course, we're playing with progressive bows, so there is 2 bows in the pool. So we could very well find just the mitts in Pod, but then a bow-locked bow in Pod, that happens. That happens all the time. Very funny. Yeah, this is good for Dawn. The question, though, is will Dawn just grab the flute? Well, it's not like the flute opens up anything new. So I would assume they would take this all the way over to Catfish Zora. But maybe not. Who knows?
And yeah, as you said, a little bit later flute, but hasn't really slowed Dawn down at all yet, so...
I mean, I could very well see the abandoned Catfish and go straight to Pod Eastern, and then, if you're going to go to Catfish, you just go do, like, pyramid up to Catfish or something. If you don't feel like doing the bomb jump setup over here. Oh, I guess you have to go in the Dark World anyway, because you don't have the mitts.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see the bomb jump to get over to the Catfish area.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice setup for that.
feel like that was a lot more breathing room than I was expecting that you had. Because I always like line up on a very particular Y coordinate. But that was not it, so it's funny. Picking up a potion, probably in preparation for a potion glitch in Palace of Darkness to get past the mimics.
Yeah, and just having the timing to get into the water set up for you is very nice, because I always just sort of stand there at the edge holding a bomb and try and eyeball it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same. And it usually works.
You got 10 bombs, right? That's plenty of tries.
Yeah, I feel like this is probably going to even up pretty quickly here. The only thing I think that both players had skipped at this point is Hobo. No. Someone did it. Someone checked Hobo. One of them did.
Yeah, I think Dawn did it the first time around, did the run up to Waterfall and then back down to Hobo, so...
Right. Yeah, because we were commenting on the fact that they didn't check what was on the Zor ledge. Right.
Yeah, but it feels like our runners have done pretty much all the same checks at this point.
Oh, I don't like this. Is Dawn actually dashing all the way back to go to the portal to go to Pyramid or something? This is a long walk.
Yeah.
Alright, our first check of Sahasrara's hut at 40 minutes. If there's just like a bow in here, I'll just laugh to myself. But yeah, at this point, both of these runners are pretty much neck and neck, I think. Oh, there's the flippers, okay. Well, that puts all that stuff we did in logic. And we can go beat Swamp Palace, so now we don't even have to go to Pod.
Yep, and James
The bailout.
bailing out immediately. And I don't think anyone will be shocked if we find Mitts and or Lamp in Swamp.
The good old Layton's in Swamp. And this is, I don't know, this is kind of an example of why I feel like sometimes checking Saha's hut before committing to Dark World isn't necessarily a bad play. I mean, it just so happened it had stuff. It could have had nothing in it, and then I would just say nothing at all. But, like, you just never know that Sphere 1 checks could still have progression.
And the problem, too, is when you find that there later, you start to think, like, oh, did my opponent find that 3 minutes in?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Of course, I guess it works the other way, that when you go there and find nothing, you're like, oh, did my opponent skip that and I lost all this time, so...
Mm-hmm. Just can't win. Just always assume you're losing. That's how I play the game. Right now, favor is with James right now, obviously because they're the first one in the swamp. And, you know, once you full clear this, and depending on what you find in there, then we can go to Pod Eastern. Right now we're looking for, we obviously need the Mitts. Mitts would open up some stuff for us. We need mitts, we need bow, we need fire rod, and I think that's it. We might need to get Quake up on Floating Island if that's the medallion for Meyer. And lamp is of course nice to have, but not necessary. So.
Yeah, mitts would certainly be interesting here, right? Because that would open up Misery Mire for sure, that potential pendant ice play, and all sorts of overworld stuff. So that would definitely open things up a lot at this point.
Yeah, when you're this close, it's just like, man, just give me the bow and fire rod, and then just give me go mode mitts so I can just skip so much stuff. But it's not gonna. You know, it's not gonna. And mitts also potentially open up. Not too much in T-Rock, but then again, you know, we've seen T-Rock lead you all the way to the laser bridge without a fire rod. It is possible. Nothing too exciting here. Red mail, heart container. I think we got one of the dungeon items. Yeah, there's the map.
Yeah, and with the big key in the back, there's at least 2 items available to if James wants to head back in after beating Argus here. We'll see what he decides.
Yeah, I can't imagine not going back in. Why does it sound so weird?
There's like extra squishiness for Swamp Palace.
Yeah, that's the sword slashing and the Argy dying. Just something. It's just not. Something's off. Something's not right. Blame Argus for that one. There's the cape. That doesn't really do much for us. Makes Spike Cave available, but that's about it. Yeah, if Compass actually is vanilla right here, then that means there's still 3 items left in this dungeon. So you're definitely going back in. Though I would go back in even for 1 item just because it's either that or Odd Eastern.
And Don's going to do left side right away. Of course, with the diver down, that does make the left side trip a smidge faster, but the downside is then when you find that big key in the back and there's 1 item left, do you go back in for it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess it depends on what's on left side swamp. Let's see bailing on it if we do find like mitts or bow or something over on left side. I think if you find nothing, then you go back in and check the big chest.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, other things to think about, if we do find a fire source, there is still green pendant land molas. That's an item and a green pendant for another item. Hera basement, that's another option. Some good options. $20, and the other item is gonna be, is it our mitts? Is it a bow? Or is it nothing? It's nothing! Yay!
Oh my gosh. And let's see, we've seen Bombo's tablet, right? So we are pretty much down to Pod at this point.
Yeah, just Pod Eastern. They can do Spike Cave. I couldn't even begin to tell you if it's in logic, but it's doable with that cape.
Yeah, with the cape and a bottle, it's definitely in logic, so.
Like, if I were them, I'd probably just beeline it to Spike Cave. But also just because I hate Pod Eastern, so that would do it. Yeah, we saw Bombo's tablet on Dawn's side. Don't think it was anything exciting. Second row hearts is kind of exciting. Bumper ledge was just, I think, $20, so. And this might be, oh, this will be a potion purchase for either Spike Cave or for Potion Glitch. I think this is a quick hobo check on James' set. Yeah. Okay. Well, unless Dawn decides to go to Spike Cave, this is going to even up, like, completely. Going into pod.
Although Dawn might be dipping back in for that heart piece out of the big chest in Swan.
Oh, right. Good point, yeah.
But yeah, still the seed is definitely funneling them toward pod.
And that's the thing, is we can go into pod and just find everything we need. Just be in go mode in the next couple minutes. You never know. It also feels bad that they've had access to this for, well, ever since they got to the Dark World. They could have gone here right away. But that's such a, oh, see a monkey? That's such a hard play to make. Especially when, you know, you have both Crystal and at pod and Eastern, and you have the mirror, and you're like, if I could just give me the bow and I'll do both of them. Come on. Oh, okay. Well, this could be a deciding moment of this race. If Spike Cave ends up having, like, the bow or something. Pod is completely locked.
Yeah, looks like James is going to go ahead into it, hoping to find a bow-locked bow. I might be tempted to just go dip Eastern first, though, in this spot. I don't know.
But it's tough, because there could be another bow in here. We've seen it plenty of times. It's not Spike Cave, so the answer's in Eastern, which they've had access to since the beginning of the game. And you gotta be freaking out thinking, oh, my opponent did Eastern early, maybe. Well, that is unexpected, honestly. Yeah, I feel like both runners are gonna be sweating a little bit after they find whatever it is in Eastern.
Yeah, I wonder if we're even seeing some of that from Dawn already. I wonder if that Spike Cave play was a little bit of, I feel behind, I'm going to try something a little bit riskier. Hard to say. Also could have just been an I hate pod play, so...
Yeah. I mean, if you find the bow in Spike Cave, then this is a completely different race all of a sudden.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I wonder if Dawn's going to follow suit here in pod. Still has that potion to do Potion Glitch. There's the Fire Rod. Alright. Bow-locked Fire Rod in pod. Dawn's leaving. Now, if Bow just ends up being here in Eastern, then it won't even matter.
Yeah, and the double dip for pod doesn't really make any difference if you never have to leave the area, right? Because you almost always mirror back to the front of pod before you beat helmet anyway, so...
Wow, both fire sources in Eastern and Pod, unbelievable. Lamp in the first chest too. So that flute wasn't even our Dark World access or our Death Mountain access. I mean, it wasn't our like first logical Dark World access point, but that is funny. And there's the.
Oh my god!
Oh, oof! Ouch! You hate to see that.
I swear I've seen this multiple times recently, that there was sort of one path to Dark World access somewhere out in the world, and then there was another path to Dark World access just by going and doing Saha's Closet in the Eastern Dip.
It's like you never really expect it. I think there was a qualifier race or something like that that happened, where it was like relatively early myths to get to the Dark World, and then finally going to Eastern, like 30-something, 40 minutes in, and the hammer was in there the whole time. You're like, well, all right. Thanks, Ski.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Dawn is going to leave with those mitts first, but not have that fire rod.
Fortunately, with that lamp, we'll be able to do the dark rooms here in Mire. Watch it be Quake. Don't be Quake. Don't do it! Well, we'll have to wait. I think the thing that's unfortunate as well is, like, yes, that fire rod was bow locked, but, you know, there could be 2 bows in the pool and available right now. All right, so we're not doing Mire until we go up. Well, I mean, that's kind of nice, because then, you know, you get to route in Dark Death Mountain. But then, of course, there's still the... Well, do I go ahead and open up T-Rock and dip inside for a quick peek?
Yeah, and does that fire rod, you know, bait James into doing a Turtle Rock that's unnecessary, or does it prevent Dawn from doing a necessary TR dip?
Well, that's the thing. Once he gets the mitts, he'll be bow go mode, so I'd feel like maybe checking the first chest in T-Rock and then you book it. Because, like, you know, you don't want to be looking for a bow-locked bow in, like, T-Rock or something. That'd be something.
Yeah. You would have to be a true believer in there's always a bow in Turtle Rock to make that play, I think.
Is that something that exists of the line of, like, there's always a sword in swamp kind of thing?
Yes. I think that might have been one version of the randomizer ago, that there was always a bow in Turtle Rock. I forget now.
I remember that one version where there were always, like, 1 to 2 swords in Ganon's Tower. All the time. It was nuts. Alright. What's the plan? Landmole has the bow!
Oh my goodness.
Well, we know what... Wow. Just... That's nuts.
Alright, so
alright.
Dawn's going right back to pod, gonna get that fire rod, and then that'll be go mode, right?
Yeah. Man, imagine if you got that lamp early, and then you just got bow the first time you were in desert, and all that good stuff. Now, if James skips out on Lamel, you know, there is still another bow in play somewhere, maybe. But I'd say advantage has got to be Dawn now, because, I mean, you go right back to Pod Eastern, wrap it up, piece of cake. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, pulling out the flute.
Now, there is still a chance that another bow is just chilling up here. James does have possible out, but...
I was going to say, because this is a trip back up the mountain that's mandatory for that Quake medallion, so... Finding that bow up here would mean it doesn't really slow him down at all.
Mm-hmm. Going for that Lammel's play. I feel like it was just kind of one of those, like, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it ever, maybe? I guess when you think about it, it's really not that long of a play when you've already cleared the front half. But real heads-up play by Dawn, and might have actually just secured the victory, depending on what James finds here up on Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, and
if he does... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say 2 items on land mode does make a big difference there, right? If it's just green pendant or just an item, maybe you don't do it.
Blue potion, gold sword. Nice things, but not what he's looking for. Yeah, if you want a close race, you need this to be... You need a bow to be in Hookshot Cave. Chances are very low, but it could happen. It's not looking good.
And I forget where the big key was in Pod, but Dawn's also going to be able to skip a fair bit of the back after finding this fire rod.
I think it was in the Dark Maze, the top left.
Ah, okay. Well then, won't be able to skip much.
No. James is gonna potentially take this right back on to Misery Mire. And who knows, could still find a bow in Mire. Maybe beats Lamola's after Mire, but...
Yeah, that might have been the thought process, was to go grab Quake and then worry about Desert after Mire if necessary.
Hmm. Yeah, right now Dawn is in no mode, knows that the Quake is up on Death Mountain, has to go back up there and get that. So pretty much in go mode at this point. Just needs to find the dang big key. So James, potentially on how bad the big key is in Mire, is going to lose a bit of time in here. If it just ends up being like cutscene chest, then maybe it wouldn't matter too much. Nice frame roll. Dashing right through that fire snake. So, progressive bows, they exist. There's 2 bows in the pool. This would be the perfect opportunity for that option to actually be good for once, by putting it in a different part of the game that's available currently, so that we have both runners finding their go mode but with a different bow. That would be good. That I feel like that never happens though. With progressive bows, I don't often hear of races that come down to 2 runners finding different bows for their go mode. And then I ask myself, well, why does progressive bows exist then? What's the point? Well, there's both items out of Mire.
Yeah, at least that potential full clear for James won't add too much time.
Yeah, and I feel like Dawn will have collected all of these checks as well. So not going to lose too much time in here.
I mean, there are certainly people who feel that non-progressive bows just add the potential for a second Ice Rod hunt. So I can sort of go either way on them, but I see the point. And at least the bow ice rod hunt is a little bit more restricted than the actual ice rod hunt.
Yeah, it blocks a lot more stuff. Well, cutscene chest ended up being the big key anyway, so Dom might be able to save a little bit of time if they go compass chest and then immediately do that. So Dawn just has to go, still has to go back, go in and beat Armos, and then just has to beat Moth, head back up to Dark Death Mountain to pick up Quake, and then head over and beat Meyer. I could see them potentially picking up the items in Super Bunny Cave at least on their trek through to go grab that, but we'll likely skip everything in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, especially if you do Super Bunny and find that butter sword, then probably going to stop looking for other stuff at that point.
As for James, as far as we know, their only way of staying in this race is if they immediately go beat Landmullas after this. And, you know, to think about it, like, it's... What options does James have right now?
Ice Palace?
Gross.
Fair. So we're finding that Bombos is actually a little bit rough, right? Because Fire Rod is currently out of logic for James, but Bombos does give him logical ice access.
Yeah, and also, unfortunately for him, unless it leads to a bow, Pyramid Fairy also opens up after completing Meyer.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think Desert is the play, because his options are just beat Landmo for 2 items, or go into Ice Palace for 3.
Alright, big moment coming up for James. Dawn is definitely in the driver's seat of this race. But if James goes straight to Landmullas, which is a tough call to make, this still could come down to like GT routing or something, or maybe even execution, but let's see what we got going on. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is looking like Landmullas. Because otherwise he would just mirror right at the entrance. Okay. We got a race? Question mark?
Yeah, and Dawn is turning in this green pendant.
Silvers. Oh.
Nice try.
I guess if you want a close race, you don't want those to be silvers anyway. It would just be very funny. Why should a boss get 2 bows? That's not fair. Yeah, it's still put this race to be in Dawn's favor, absolutely. But we've seen GT routing affect races before. And it also depends on how much full clearing of Meyer Dawn does. Now, Dawn's going to be able to save a bit of time not checking Hookshot Cave, potentially. But that's going to be about it of the difference. You know, and James will very likely skip out on checking Green Pendant as well.
Yeah, and let the cutscene chest in Meyer is probably the ideal location for that Meyer Big Key as far as James is concerned, because that probably means just a full clear for both runners.
Well, and this is another thing to... with, don't... What? Dawn? That's a pendant. That's a pendant dungeon. Dawn knows about Quake, right?
That's what I'm suddenly thinking. Has Dawn forgotten that, maybe? I mean, if you're just looking for Quake, regardless, you would do all these overworld things before you go into a pendant dungeon.
Oh, no. We don't want to see this. I know they checked it. They both checked it. They both checked it the first time they were up on the mountain. I mean, that would explain why Dawn went for the green pendant turn, maybe. Well, we'll find out right now. Yeah, ah! This is so unfortunate. Whoops. Please. Okay, alright. That's really strange. I guess in their mind this is a blind check of Floating Island. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like if you were gonna check Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave for, silvers or something like that, you would just go up Hookshot Cave rather than going up through Paradox and then opening the Turtle Rock portal.
Please check your map.
Okay, I think they just realized that Turtle Rock is the pendant, and now they're gonna flute away.
Oh, okay. Jeez. That was a lot of time that you did not have to waste, though. This just got... Well, I mean, at this point, this is probably... I mean, James just made up all that time checking Hookshot Cave and then some. I mean, at least it's still going to be coming down to a GT route, potentially, but, like... that would have been really unfortunate to watch. After such a, like, close neck-and-neck, slightly back-and-forth race to come down to, like, a miss mark at the end. You hate to see that, so glad that didn't happen.
And I'll have to take a closer look at the item layout here in Meyer. I feel like you might get a hint that the cutscene chest is where the big key is. Just because it can't be a small key, because if there's a small key on the left side, then the big key also has to be on the left side, but there's an item in the compass chest, so the odds of it being the big key are actually a little bit higher once you find an item on the left side.
Mm. But it also could always just be the map or compass. The worst is, like, you go to compass room and it's the map, and you're like, there's no way the cutscene's also going to be the compass, and then it is.
Yeah.
I knew I shouldn't have checked that. So, James just has to rush Armos and rush Moth. Dawn has to get this vanilla big key out of Meyer and then go kill Moth, so... Yeah, this is definitely James's advantage now. That was a huge turning point, that Death Mountain stuff. And I was curious about the green pendant turn-in at first. Then I became even more curious with the T-Rock opening.
Yeah, and I think given that Dawn was walking back toward Turtle Rock means that he had to have just thought it was a crystal.
Yeah, potentially. And it looks like it's gonna be a last location for the that vanilla big key as well. Maybe. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I think we haven't found map or compass at this point, so yeah, that is the higher probability for what's in that cutscene chest in Dawn's mind.
Hopefully James's stream stabilizes, or its connection with SG or whatever stabilizes I don't want to. I want to watch the end of this race, not some screenshots. Come on.
Nice recovery on the quick kill for Armos there.
Crystal number 6 just has to go kill Moth. The seed is really interesting and would have played out so differently if either of them had like routed to Saha Eastern early. It's just like, you know, you get your Dark World access and you're just not expecting 3 more progression items to be in the Light World. Flippers, Mitts, and Lamp.
Yeah, and if they had just gone to Eastern before South Shore, right, then they still would have gotten their Dark World access in Mini Moldorm, but just been up, you know, Mitts and Hammer.
Yeah, they would have got them both at the same time. Now, if you had routed like that, then you probably might not have gone into the desert area. So that bow would have sat there for a while. But yeah, I mean, if you watch like 10 different people play this seed, it'd be interesting to see how the routes diverge. But these guys, these two kind of, they pretty much did everything the same. Even both of them going to Saha's hut and then immediately bailing to Swamp.
Which makes sense, since they had just found that hook shot, that then when you find the flippers right after that, Swamp is pretty irresistible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the big thing here is James also didn't ever do Spike Cave. That was another time save that they had. Yeah, it looks like Dawn's going to be a whole Moth fight behind, and then some. So they're probably going to grab their... they can grab their 6th and 7th crystals at the same time. Dawn does have to be a little bit careful. Well, kind of being a jerk, but that's not normal, or nothing new there. Oh. Go ahead.
I was going to say, crystal number 7 on James's side means if you have any guesses for where that GT Big Key is going to be, go ahead and put them in chat right now. One of 22 locations in the basement where that might show up.
Oh, no. Well... Oh, okay. I thought Dawn was about to go stand in front of the Ganon's Tower with 6 crystals. I was getting very nervous. I gotta wonder, is this just like turning nerves or something happening here? Just all of a sudden seeing a lot of like little mental flubs on Dawn's side, which happens, you know. A lot at stake.
Yeah, and it might have just been a misclick on the tracker at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Got Skullwoods and TR flipped somehow. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, give a quick shout out to our runners. Putting on a really good show for us today. Make sure you go and support them any way you see fit. If you want to go follow their channels, watch some more Zelda. Always good. Appreciate everybody out there watching. Thank you.
Also, a good time to shout out our tracker, Darity Peels, for keeping us straight with what we've found and what we haven't. Makes our jobs, I would say, so much easier, but, you know, possible, because I don't know how we would do it without our trackers.
Well, right now, Dawn needs this GT Big Key to be somewhere stupid, and they go there first. But you know, James has like, this is another situation where it's like, you go to Hope Room, there's a small key, but you go full left instead, and then it's on right side. That's basically about that or a tile room gamble. That's like the only two things really. Yeah, this is a pretty important game for the Immortals. They're trying to get on the board, hoping to avoid going winless after 3 weeks in a very, very difficult invitational league. While Boomer Friendly, with their debut in the invitational after earning the spot from finishing top 4 in the open league, trying to make a splash. They were also winless starting this week, so somebody's got to win.
Yeah, it's such a great prize that you get when you finish in the top 2 in the open league. You get to come play the Sharks in the Invitational League.
I think it's pretty cool. Hey, look. There's the ice rod. Hey, nothing on the right side.
No, it absolutely is very cool. I think the league is such a great idea. Adding in the team aspect to Rando and just the whole thing is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoy being on a team with 2 of my good pals, so, you know, especially during co-op week, practicing and stuff, getting ready for that is always a blast. And this is my 3rd season on the league, so this is definitely looking like probably the hardest season so far, as it feels like every season all the teams are getting better and better. Everybody's getting too dang good at this game. Powder's a nice find. Half Magic also very nice.
And I believe that was 8, 9, 10, and 11 for our GT checks.
Yeah, Don's still a little bit behind. Needs to actually do that Hope Room and go full left in order to potentially stay in this. You know, it could still come down to some, execution going up the gauntlet. James in the driver's seat of this race, hoping to secure a victory for his team. Looking for that dang old big... Yeah. It's always nice when you get to avoid 2 entire pendant dungeons, especially 2 entire Dark World pendant dungeons. And then the 1 pendant dungeon you actually do is required.
And up to 17 with no big key as of yet.
Yeah, and this is looking like a Stalfos to Compass Room play. On Dawn's side, yep. So, unless they just randomly go full right to Ice Armos, or do a tile room gamble, it's so hard to tell though, because like you're an hour and 21 minutes in, which feels like a pretty good time in a mode like this. That making a gamble like tile room or going full right to Ice Armos just feels bad.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I always feel like I'm behind, so it's hard to judge if I feel like I'm far enough behind that I should do something ridiculous like the tile room.
Mm-hmm. There's been so many times where I felt behind, and then I made a stupid route in GT and lost because I wasn't actually behind. If I had just played the safer standard route, I would have been fine. Oh, this could be interesting. So James needs to find a 10-pack of arrows or something. Otherwise, we might go outside and do some digging. There's the big key.
Number 20 officially for that big key. Ooh. All right, yeah, no. Okay, yes, we're going up. Is James thinking about mimic clipping here?
I'm thinking maybe trying to farm some arrows off of... No, they're not going to have arrows. I guess we're digging. Wow, It's gonna come down to digging. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
I gotta say, in the list of ways that I thought this race might tighten up, this was not high on the probability.
32, 33, 34. $50, $51.
There we
$61.
go. Wow.
Still with plenty of time. Oh, jeez. It's even worse because, like, James went out of his way to get some extra arrows for Ice Armos. And then, you know, it's so easy to fall into that muscle memory of, like, okay, I know the setup, let me just kill these Armos. And then you look at your count and you're like, ah, nuts.
Yeah, and there's stuff like, so this room that Dawn's going through right now, you know, the bonk to get over the one teleporter, if you go through that teleporter, there's another pot with 5 arrows under it, right? So we'll see if Dawn grabs those right now. Nope. So Dawn's also going to be a little bit in trouble in the arrow department.
And the other thing to consider is that for those that haven't seen it or haven't tried it, the mimic clip in the first room is really not that bad because you can use the little blocks to clip them out of bounds instead of using the wall. And the setup for those are much, much quicker and takes a lot less input. You just have a little bit slow, like less of a window to, or more of a window to mess up because you're just working with that tiny block. And the funny thing is, if you mimic clip in the first room, then the BMOs are broken in the next room. Because there's too many sprites in existence, so they just sit there and watch. Sword beams are working. I don't know why. You have 10 arrows.
Yeah, I think Dawn was just into the button mashing rhythm and just
yeah,
rolled with it. So this is certainly a closer race than it was. James ahead by just the gauntlet at this point.
Oh, the rupees on the floor made the arrow pot despawn. This game's a jerk sometimes. Sometimes it despawns good stuff. Sometimes it makes you dig 61 times to get an arrow drop.
Yeah, I swear the arrows in Mimics 2 just despawn more than anything else in the game.
Yep.
But only when I'm counting on them.
Right. Well, this certainly has been a very interesting finish to the seed so far, and it's still not over. We still have a couple of fights coming up ahead, and right now I'm sure the churning nerves are getting to both these runners, because you know if you go outside digging for arrows, you're thinking, and if you're paying attention to the race room, you see your opponent's still not done, and you're like, oh gosh, this is going to be super close.
At the risk of cursing our runners, it's hard to imagine anything going wrong in this Ganon fight, though, with Red Mail and Butter Sword.
Right. I just want to know where the heck those silvers were. Probably in... Oh, I bet they're in T-Rock. I'll be waiting for Ganon to say, did you find the silver arrows in Turtle Rock? Well, let's see how friendly Aga 2 is today. Could have set it for a triple, but getting a double's nice too. Wow, okay. Nice angle there. My problem with this fight is I will always just, like, default to spins. And I need to, like, try and do slashes sometime. Spins will just, I don't know. You gotta be versatile. You gotta use both depending on the angles and the setups and stuff.
Yeah, it's one of the most sort of reactive spots in the game where you just have to adapt to whatever random thing Aga is doing.
Mm-hmm. All right, hour 29 minutes. Heading into the Ganon fight. Gold sword to get us into phase 3 real quick. And then we just have to do some serverless shenanigans. Now, both runners do have a blue potion. We have cape, we have half magic. You can play this as safe as you want. Well, don't really need to worry about that at this point. I was just concerned as James was taking fire bats to the face.
There was that triple from Dawn, though.
Alright, where are they? In the light world?
I'm trying to think what that could even be. Is that Mimic Cave?
Maybe. Magic Bat could be as well.
Yeah, that's true. Mushroom turn-in, I guess, theoretically.
Mm-hmm. James, why you do this? No, we saw Spike Cave. Spike Cave is also not a light world location. Oh, we saw a little bit of phase 4, but we saw enough. Like James is gonna take down the pig and secure a win for their team. Sword up. GG's in chat. Yeah, this is gonna be a really close race at the end of this. Man, it really just kind of came down to, James making the clutch play to go back into Desert after Meyer, but really just even with the arrow situation, for both of them really, but Dawn just kind of uncertain with something going on near the end there, looking for Quake.
Yeah, and that extra Spike Cave trip, just a couple of little things like that. This was just a really close race all the way through.
Just a few more spins to go. And by a few, I mean one. And that's another GG for Dawn and Boomer Friendly. Wrapping up this seed and wrapping up this race.
And official race times of 1:31.04 for James and 1:32.40 for Dawn. and we'll see if we can get them into chat to talk about this race a little bit.
We've got James. GG's.
GG's, thanks.
Did you count how many digs you had to do to get arrows?
No, it was far more than I felt was necessary for that sort of luck.
It was 61. I counted.
add that to like the 28 dig bombs at dig game.
Oh yeah, that's like, I think you've done enough digs for like the rest of the week.
It's like I'm running 100%.
Yeah, gotta go back, try again. We also welcome Don to the commentary booth. GG's, another close race.
Hey there, welcome.
I had a quick question for you. At the tail end there, you were heading up to do Quake, and did you walk us through that?
The whole time I was like, oh man, this race is turning into an ice rod hunt. Like, TR is red crystal, but no, it's a red pendant or whatever. And so, because it's like on the tracker, it's also like kind of reddish. So the whole time I was thinking TR was a crystal. So I'm like, all right, where's the ice rod? Where's the ice rod? I gotta keep checking things. Where's the ice rod?
Okay.
And so I didn't realize I was in go mode until I was about to enter TR, and I'm like, wait, this is pendant. Let's pendant mirror flew away. I hope I'm not too far behind because of this, but I'm pretty glad it was only a minute apart.
Yeah, right there at the tail end, like you were in the lead. You were the first one to. James was the first one to find the fire rod going in with a potion glitch into pod, but you were the first one to find the bow. So you had a little bit of advantage just because at the time James had, cleared all of Dark Death Mountain aside from Spike Cave. But then, yeah, that unfortunate pendant crystal flub with T-Rock kind of gave him a chance to catch back up and take the lead over. And ended up being really, really close, especially with the arrow mishaps up in GT.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other thing that I felt went poorly for me was after getting flute, I kern jumped over to Catfish Zora, and then I ran all the way to Zora, then ran all the way back to go to the portal just to go back to Pod Eastern.
Yeah,
and like that whole time, like halfway through that, I'm like, oh man, I should have just saved and quit, activated this flute, and just fluted over to Pod Eastern. But
yeah,
at that point, I was already committed. Like I even set up my magic so I can use the green potion to potion glitch, and but
it was funny and I want to hear from both of you about what was going through your mind at the time. But it was really funny that you both went to set up for pod, mirror, get flippers, and then immediately bail, go to all swamp, and then I think James went and checked Bombo's tablet, while Dawn went up and did Spike Cave, and then you guys immediately went back to pod.
Yeah, I just found the hook shot on Death Mountain, and like with the flippers being so like Sphere 0 and just finding this hook shot, I felt like I just wanted to follow the item trail. Like turns out everything was in Sphere 0 in Eastern Palace for the most part. But that was my thinking. It was like I just got a hook shot. I just now got away into swamp. Swamp's a crystal. It's a red crystal. Let's get it out of the way. It's not gonna take me too much time. I can come back here. I still am looking for a bow. I really don't want to double dip these dungeons.
So, when you both found Lamp and Mitts in Eastern and realized I could have had this at the beginning of the game, what went through your mind first? Or yeah, go ahead, Don.
I was gonna say, like, pretty much every item location here was like, oh, if you find this early, you can probably snowball an advantage, but then you find something else in like another not so nice place. And so everything kind of like, if you routed this well, it would be really fast. If you kind of did what I did, where you kind of follow every little trail, like every little crumb trail, it could lead you totally wild different things. And that's another reason why I'm so surprised that it was so close, was just depending on where item locations were, it could have been totally different how it played out.
Yeah.
I assume Dawn and I had very similar routes for the first hour of this game, because if you go to Eastern Palace, you get set up for everything, and then maybe it takes you forever to go check desert. Maybe not. Like that's the it's really hard. Like finding those items so early kind of isolates the flute in some ways, based on where it was at. and then it also isolates Desert Palace in some way. So it could have been like it felt like a jet seed that I unjetted as I was playing it, and I felt really bad when I found the mitts in Eastern. But it was easy for me to see someone else doing the same sort of route that I did and ending up in the same position. So I didn't feel like I felt like if they did it, I lose, whatever, it's fine. If they didn't do it, then we're probably pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were on pretty much the same route up until Swamp. I mean, the one spot where you sort of swapped places was when, James, you went to the Flute earlier and then did Death Mountain after that, where Dawn sequence broke the mountain and then found the Flute right after that. But then you just came right back together going into Swamp at about the same time, so...
Yeah, that was the one thing where I felt pretty good about finding it early, was just going into Skullwoods, getting the mirror, and then immediately finding Flute after that. It kind of like looped all of that North Dark World stuff in pretty well together. But yeah, like if you just have the same biases that I have and just don't really like doing bowless Eastern, bowless pod, then you end up in the same place.
Oh, one of the other big defining moments towards the end was both you guys at some point killing landmillas. What Dawn, when you first were you were over there, you saw that Quake was needed and you knew where Quake was, but I guess since you were still thinking that T-Rock was a crystal, what was going through your mind that sent you in to go kill landmillas?
What for, like, killing landmollas or disinterested in that was, we found books so early and like nothing came of it. I'm like, something has to be on book. I have to keep following this. I'm gonna commit to it. I'm just gonna follow it. And once I got bow, I'm like, all right, that's cool. I can go back, finish pod Eastern, and then go up the mountain, grab my Quake, and
You find your
just
ice
continue
rod.
searching for Ice Rod. Like
Mhm.
maybe dip Ice Rodless TR and do that gamble.
Yeah. And like we weren't sure if you were gonna actually go and kill landmillas after you beat Meyer, but it's like I'm sure in your
100%,
head you're
100%.
like, okay, because the
Yeah.
other options are all terrible. So
Yeah, all the rest of my options are really bad. Go into a TR without an ice rod, or go to Ice Palace. I'm here, it's 2 items very quickly. Like if it wasn't there, my next check was to do Pyramid Fairy into turning in the green pendant. So
okay.
like there's no reason for me not to do desert because I've already
Yeah.
cleared out the front. I know I just have to go kill Landmo, and it's 2 items.
I guess as my co-com was saying earlier, if landmillas ended up either not having an item or it wasn't the green pendant, would it have changed your all's decision to do it?
No.
No, still would have done it.
I mean, if it was just green pendant, I'd probably still do it if it's just green pendant. It might be less likely if it's not green pendant and Landmo has an item. But I'm in there, and like you said, all my other checks are really bad at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm another climb up Death Mountain to go to TR. When I could have hopped in there when I was up there grabbing Quake.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Wow. Good race. Real fun. Real close. Love the digging for arrows. That's classic.
It is classic. It
was a classic.
It's not quite blind pedestal pull for stream value, but it is pretty close.
It's pretty good. But yeah, GG's to both you guys. Congrats, James, on. Well, I guess congrats to both teams for getting on the board this week. So that's good.
GG's.
GG's.
And thanks everybody for watching. There's certainly some more tourney action going on out there today. I could tell you, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. So just go find that schedule. It's right there in chat. Yeah, good luck to both of you all next week for spoilers as well. And want to give a shout out to Cool Papa Bell for co-common. Good times.
Absolutely, had lots of fun. And another shout out to Darity Peels for doing the tracking for us. And had lots of fun. Yeah, thanks to both our runners for putting on a good show for us.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.